Yeah! How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a really special video for you. I have my friend Logan here, who is 6'4" and owns a Miata. So I kind of want to know, for somebody your size, why did you get one of the smallest cars ever created?
It wasn't super planned to say, but someone we knew owned it, and it was a super good deal for the price, for the price of this car. And even in the market back 4 years ago when I got this car, it was a good deal. I mean, you can't find a rust-free Miata for $3,500 anymore.
Did you get it from Florida, or did you go somewhere else to get it?
It was a Florida car. We got it from Port Charlotte.
Yeah.
It was owned in Wisconsin for like 3 or 4 years back in the 90s. Used to have a custom plate called Kenosha, because that's where it was from.
Yeah,
that's where it was ordered to. Yeah, I'm the second owner of the car.
So actually coming from Wisconsin and being rust-free, that's like a miracle, if anything, especially with a car from the 90s.
Dude, I have no idea how.
So how did you get the car? Was it stock? Was there any modifications to it?
It was bone stock with blown suspension, and it had such faded taillights. The person that sold it to us smoked them out, and then we took, I was like, yo, I genuinely can't see through the smoke. We somehow got all the smoke off. I think we used Goo Gone or something, and then realized that they were white. They were literally white. They were clouded that bad. That's why we couldn't see through them. It wasn't even because of the smoke. But I ordered new taillights, and then it was completely bone stock.
Tell me about your journey with the Miata, from, I guess, like when you owned it to now.
So I got the car 4 years ago when I turned 16. It was my first car. It's probably the best car I could have owned to learn from. I genuinely have learned so much from this car, and it's been a gateway to my current career. And so when I first got the car, the first thing I did to this car was coilovers, actually, because like I said earlier, the suspension was so blown. There's no reason a stock Miata should tuck when I get in. That should not happen. So we put coilovers on it, the same the coilovers are on it now that are currently blown. Yeah. Because they were $200 Amazon coilovers.
Oh yeah.
That's soon going to change because, here in beautiful Fort Myers we have Import Image and we have silvers.
Get a pair of BCs. BC sponsor me.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna get a set of silvers because I like to support my local businesses.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I got the coilovers, and then it kind of sat for a while. All it was little stuff. I did lighting. I did these switchbacks. I did those first. Like resistors, simple stuff like that. I got these smoke lenses. I thought I was so cool with those, and the car was still stock. I mean, it was on coilovers, but it sat higher than stock.
Yeah.
So after that, it sat for probably a year without having anything done to it. And I worked this job when I was 16, like the end of me being 16. It was at my uncle's shop, and it was under the table. I just got paid. I got paid $60 after 5 days of work at a shop. You love, it's like $2 something an hour. It wasn't good. But I worked hard enough to where I was able to afford the exhausters on the car now. And I got it. I put the exhaust on the car. Way louder than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But I rode out with it. Now it's even louder because it's catless, and does shoot flames.
Yeah, shoots bigger flames than me sometimes.
Yeah, and it's just little tunes that do it, just changing the ignition on these cars. That's what I did. But after I got the exhaust, I decided to actually mess with the coilovers finally, and I did lower the car to about what it is now. It was a little bit higher than it is now. And that's when I got these. I got these halos, and that was the first thing I ever actually tried to wire in, because the resistors, I let my automotive teacher do it back in high school, and that was cool because I kind of did learn how he did it. But for this, I decided to do it all on my own, and that was the first wiring thing I ever did, and it really was like a gateway into me learning about lights and stuff. And obviously, that I know a lot about lights now.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we got the headlights on this car. And then I got it tinted because Florida, it's hard to go in Florida without tint. And then it sat a while again. It sat a while for about a year. I got rear-ended at school. That sucked. the car used to get driven around for a while with, it was a red and primer trunk on a white car. But then I graduated high school. Well, I hadn't even graduated yet. It was like midway through my senior year. It was my birthday in November, and my uncle decided he's gonna give me a combined graduation, birthday, and Christmas present, and he painted the car any color I wanted, and that's why I picked Starfire White Pearl, and it's a Lexus color. It's a 3-stage Lexus color. I love the color so much. I mean, I haven't ever seen another Miata with this same color, but it fixed my issue of having a red trunk. So the car's all one color now. It's the same paint, and then once again it sat for a while. I really didn't do anything. I did a little bit of speaker stuff to it, but now it was actually a year ago, just over a year ago, I finally took the biggest plunge possible, and I bought these wheels. They're the Work CR Kawamis. They actually had to get made to order. Like, I thought they would have them in stock. It took 6 months to get these wheels in. It was some of the. It felt like the longest 6 months of my life.
Yeah.
And when I finally got them in, I fell in love. You know, it was so much time waited, and just like, it was 3.5 years of owning the car already without wheels, and it was low. But at that time, I had lifted the car back up a little bit so I could be comfortable, and I put the wheels on there, and I left it like that for 4 or 5 months of the car being that high. And then I was like, you know, I just got the fenders rolled. Let me finally lower the car. Great decision.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you guys that was a good decision to finally lower this car. It paid off. I mean, you guys will soon see the way the fitment in the rear is. You know, it's a lot of time dialed in, a lot of research put into the offsets and everything, tire sizes and everything to get it to look the way it is now. And other than that, nothing else has really happened since then. I put a sub in it, but there is big plans coming soon. There's fast plans going soon.
Yeah.
There's sliding plans going soon. And there's tow rig plans coming soon. So, all of that stuff will come together soon.
More of a one-in-one Miata.
This thing's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a little while before it's crazy, but it is going to be crazy.
Hey, it's always about the process.
The process is
you
huge.
learn.
Oh! Speaking of the process, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
I'm on my second engine in this car because when I was 17, I blew it up. I forgot to talk about that. I really didn't maintain the car at all. I had bad rings, and I was like, oh. I pulled the dipstick out. I was like, oh, it has oil on it. Put it back in. That's how I checked my oil back then. I didn't wipe it off, stick it back in, and check. Pause. But I blew it up. I blew it up bad.
Yeah.
We took it apart, or we drained the oil when I blew it up, and it came out in chunks. Like, not even metal chunks. It came out. It looked like applesauce. It was gray applesauce that came out of the car. It was disgusting.
Basically, a regular BMW.
It was just
oil
like
change.
what it was. It's just like what Brandon said. There was no more bearings. We both have done that. And I got a new engine for the junkyard. It was $800. Luckily, Miatas are cheap. That's an advantage to this thing. It's cheap. The transmission issues are pretty infamous.
They're there.
Yeah, it all started off with a bad clutch. This is an older car. I think it was a stock clutch probably. And I drove on this car pretty hard. I used to slide it and stuff with an open diff. And it finally blew on me. Like, I let somebody else drive it. I let Adrian drive it on his birthday is what happened. And it stopped working on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it stopped working on his birthday, and he felt so bad. He thought he blew it up. But I tried to tell him, it's an old car, bro. It's bound to happen. It was only $200 for a new clutch, so
yeah.
I wasn't really upset. I'm just super glad that he was there to actually help me put it in, because that's like super important. And he learned from it. I learned from it. I can drop the trans in this car in 20 minutes because after that clutch issue happened, we had to drop the trans 6 more times because every 2 or 3 days it'd blow a throwout bearing out or it'd blow something out. What happened was the clutch fork was bent, but it was bent to where you just couldn't see it.
Yeah.
To where it would affect the throwout bearing, but you couldn't see it. So I got a new throwout bearing. I got like 3 times, and then I finally got a new clutch fork and a pivot ball. I replaced it, and it blew up a throw bearing after a month this time. So we
Oh,
got
wow.
progress.
Yeah.
And we come to the conclusion that those were just bad throw bearings. They, AutoZone throw bearings.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Nah, they're not OEM quality. So the last time I did this, I warrantied out the clutch that I had. I warrantied out the clutch that I had. So there's a new clutch. I got a Flying Miata heavy-duty throwout bearing. The thing is like a tank. I made sure I did all the measurements on the clutch for it to make sure it wasn't bent. It wasn't. Everything else went back together. That was about 8 months ago, and it's good now. It's knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wheel.
But knock on wheel. It hasn't really messed up too bad on me recently. About 2 weeks after I fixed the trans, the diff blew up. The spider gears blew up. So I welded the diff.
Oh.
How else would I fix it? So I welded the diff, and then I really learned how to slide with this car.
Yeah.
That's why I said in the future we got slidey plans.
Yeah. Gonna get an LSD this time?
No, I'm gonna keep the welded diff until it's time to blow it up even worse.
Oh man.
Yep.
So before getting the Miata, were you into cars at all? Did you have like a background people in your family with cars?
My late grandpa he owned a shop in LaBelle. It's a shop that I worked at that my uncle owns now, which leads on to my uncle owning a shop. My entire mom's side of my family has been into cars forever. We had this C4 Corvette in our family. It's an heirloom car that I actually own now. I don't even think you know that. I own a C4 Corvette, but I don't know what to do with it yet. But it's a family heirloom. That's like one of our big family cars. It's like I said 3 times, a C4 Corvette. It's a convertible car. It's an auto, but it's pretty cool, and it's got a lot of background behind it.
Yeah.
And they really inspired me back when I was younger. Back when I was younger, I used to sit in the truck when my grandpa would drive and point out semis. Back when I was 6 or 7. Back then, I knew what a 379 was.
Man.
A lot of time. But yeah, it kind of runs in my blood.
Yeah, I get you.
To be honest.
All right, now we kind of got a background on the Miata and a little bit of background of you. So why don't we take it for a drive and see if it handles as good as you say it does?
Okay.
Alright, I think that's going to wrap up the video for today. Thank you everybody for watching. If you're new to the channel, I really hope you stick around and watch, more videos as they come out. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you, Logan, for coming out and showing us your Miata. 6'4" and a small car is crazy. Just before I leave though, if you're in the 239 area, Logan does do installation and electrical work for your cars. So LitbylogiLLC on Instagram. I'll link it all in the description. I'll also link his personal Instagram in the description. Other than that, thank you everybody for watching, and see you next time in another car review.